Okay, we'd like to begin our March meeting with pledge to the flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll begin with the approval of our minutes from February, the meetings that we had.
I'll make a motion we approve February 2022 operating statements, the February 24th, 2025 council meeting minutes, February 24th, 2025 public hearing minutes, March 10th, 2025 work session minutes, and Quantum's financial statements for February 2025.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Nays, motion's carried. Okay, on our agenda next, we have solar on Earth. Are we here?
Okay, this is the second time,
Okay,
so he's done.
3 strikes and you're out. Okay, next on the agenda, we have Joe Conaway. If you come up and, yes, we turned it around. So the last couple of weeks when I've been off watching council meetings in other towns, people have been up talking and they're not on their microphone and nobody knows what they're talking about. So I thought we'd put our microphone over here. That way you can raise it up or whatever. And then when he's over here recording, at least people will see when they're watching it on TV who it is.
So, Mayor, Town Council, my name is Joe Conaway, for those of you who don't know me. I have been a resident here for 24 years or more, going on 25 years. And I came up with an idea a while back as part of a school project that I was working on, talked to Perry about it, and it's blown up to what we have in front of you today. I gave you a little presentation. Rather than do slides, I just printed out a little handout there for you. I want to tell you a little bit about myself other than just having lived here in town. I'm an Army retiree. I had 25 years in the Army before I left the military and have worked for the federal government for the last 14.
Still working or you're laid off?
I am still working.
Don't curse.
Don't bring that up. I check my emails every day. I'm a doctoral candidate at Wilmington University out of Delaware. I have completed all my coursework, and this is my last final project. So I'm proposing it now. Perry has been a great help with this. I'm working on a degree in organization leadership, learning, and innovation. So it's a combination of developing projects that build leadership in organizations. And I want to kind of use the town not as a guinea pig per se, but as a place where I can work on my project. I've approached Perry with the idea. He asked me to come here and talk to you all and tell you a little bit about what I'm trying to put together. I've got 14 years in supervision, leadership, and management experience. I'm a certified professional in management. I'm a certified executive leadership coach, so I'm used to working with CEOs and leaders in organizations. I'm a certified knowledge manager and a certified project director. So I have some extensive experience in the field that I'm working in. The reason for the research, if you go to that slide, based on my review of professional literature that's out there, capturing and sharing information should be able to improve town services for our constituents. If we're able to capture information, hold on to it, and make it available to draw from, it should make it easier for us to eliminate some of the redundancies that are done in government. It should eliminate some of the repetitive work that just gets done over and over again. Studies show that employees spend nearly 20% of their work week looking for internal information or tracking down colleagues who can help them get things done. 85% of surveyed employees admit they spend a considerable amount of time searching for documents throughout their workday, and 60% state that they waste time hunting for more time hunting for information than they do actually performing the work that they were hunting for information for. That's a considerable amount of waste and inefficiency. So what I was looking at was if I can identify current level of satisfaction among you all in how you felt about when you first came onto town council and how you were taught to do your job and how you learned to do the different tasks that you did, then I can get an idea from you and then also get an idea from surveying members of the town, residents, how they feel about their satisfaction with being able to find information on our web pages and from calling you and getting information from you all. And we should be able to find more efficient ways to share information within the town. That should keep people from calling you, because if they can find it just by searching online, they don't need to bug you. They don't need to constantly be calling Dawn asking for how we get things done in town. There are tons of programs out there. There are lots of different resources out there, tools out there that should make this easier. All we have to do is just get it documented and make it available for search engines to find what people are looking for, find what you're looking for, find what newly elected people might be looking for to be able to learn how to do their job, and we can make it easier. I'm willing to do the research. I'm willing to do the legwork. I'm willing to help put together grant proposals to find organizations that will help with putting the money forward to help put something like this in place. What I want to do is anonymously capture all the information, write up a report summary, give it to you all as a council, and see if it's something you'd like for me to go ahead and work with Mike on to put a grant together. No guarantees that that'll happen, but I'm willing to put in that work. If it does happen, I think residents might find it helpful to have that at their fingertips. If you've ever been on a website and you get that little button or that little icon that pops up in the corner saying, "Hey, can I help you?" Most people get annoyed by it and they turn it off. That's older people. We do that. The younger people, they love that button because they can just type in what they want. It finds what they want. It gives them the information they want. That's kind of what I'm talking about here. It's making stuff more available than just having a web page. It involves social media. It involves lots of different things. Some of the improvement opportunities and expected outcomes are in the sheet there. My marketing plan really is going to be to put some information out on social media. We've still got the town 150th anniversary page. I can put a link to the surveys. I would want to interview each of you and kind of get your feedback on some of the questions that I've got. And then I'm trying to reach a certain number of participants, so I'm going to just keep doing it and bugging people until I get my numbers reached. But then once that's done, it would be a report back to you all. I wouldn't present the report responses here. It would
Right.
be something we do just for you.
Sure.
Your benefit. Anybody have any questions about anything?
Sounds like a good program. It's not going to hurt anything. I mean, I know how hard it is to do surveys in this town. I mean, Brett was here when we annexed Honeysuckle Lane. We had 28 homes up there to do an income survey on and a survey for them so we can get a low to moderate income grant to hook those people up. It took us about 2 years to do that for 28 homes because nobody wanted to do it. But I think, and that's a different generation of people nowadays, you know, well, I think it's worth a try. Anything that has grant money available, now I won't say that, I better rephrase that because no grant is free. But it's something that we can look at, you know. There's other people in town now that might see that it's worthwhile. We'll give it a try and see what happens. That's my opinion, but like I say, we got some newer people, younger people in town that ask questions. Unfortunately, they never come to council meetings. They'd rather set up 7-Eleven or sit in a bar or somewhere else and talk about it rather than come in here and discuss their problems. But that's why we have a meeting here every month. But I think it's well worth a try anyway.
I think the technology is the way of the future.
Oh, yes.
And we got to stay caught up. And I think that it's easier for a larger city to implement because they've got better funds, but it becomes a logistical nightmare. My research is about doing it in a small town. And if I can do it in this small town, then I could make that information available to other small towns through the MML or, you know, something else. So it has repercussions outside of Union.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, Dawn.
How would you send out the survey?
I could do the survey a number of different ways. I can do a barcode that we could put on the town webpage and people could just use their phone. We can put a barcode in the newsletter and just put a brief blurb in the newsletter about it. We can put it on social media. I can put flyers up on the flyers and people with phones can just take a picture of the flyer and
So you wouldn't be
bring the
sending
survey up.
anything out to certain addresses or anything?
I wouldn't be
where it
mailing
would-
anything out to anyone. I could go door to door if I don't get the numbers that I need, but it's completely anonymous. Nobody gives me their name. They don't register under their webpage or anything, so.
The reason I ask that is only because I don't want to get phone calls down here. Who is this person coming and wanting information?
So, yeah, so I think that if we were able to use some official means to get the information, that would be best. You know, either the town
Mhm.
150th page or the
Yeah.
newsletter would probably be the two best ways that I would want to go with.
Sounds good.
Yeah, would suggest that 150th page and, town website. They have other meetings in town as far as Facebook and Union Bridge happenings. I'm not on Facebook, and I don't look at Union Bridge happenings because I found out 90% of the stuff that's on there isn't true, so I don't waste my time looking at it. So,
The one thing I will mention is that once something's on one Facebook page, other people can click on it and share it to other pages, and we wouldn't be able to control where it was being shared.
Right.
So if it was shared to the town history page or to
Sure.
the town happenings page, that would be something that,
Yeah.
their admins would handle.
Sure.
But it's not, it's not anything that's gonna hurt anything.
Sure.
If it does generate any questions, I'd put my contact information on it. They'd be able to reach back to me or if you wanted me to work with someone on the council, that's fine too.
okay. What's the council's opinion on this? It's not gonna hurt anything to try,
That's the way I see it.
Don't cost us anything to
Sounds good to
try.
me.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I look forward to it. I appreciate Perry and I've been talking about it for a while, but there's a lot of hoops you go through in order to get permission to do something like this. So we're there.
Yeah.
Finally there.
Okay,
Is
all
that
right.
an agreement?
Yes. All right, thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is mayor's report. This time we're going to introduce the budget for next year. If Laura doesn't go to mind, I'm going to get her to read all this because,
Okay, I got one.
okay, I just had eye surgery last week and trying to get adjusted to these things. I had cataract surgery and things are a little blurry yet, so.
All right, so this is March 24th, 2025. Introduction of proposed budget ordinance 319B for fiscal year 2025/2026. The proposed town budget for expenditures and revenues is $1,242,544. The town tax rate is proposed to remain at 35 cents per $100 of full value assessment of property in the town of Union Bridge. The town personal property tax rate is proposed to remain at 75 cents per $100 of assessed value. Copies of the proposed budget are available for review between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. at the town hall. There will be a public hearing to consider comments and questions from interested citizens regarding the proposed 25-26 fiscal year operating budget on April 28th, 2025 at 7 p.m. For additional information, contact the town clerk at 410-775-2711.
Okay, thank you, Laura. And that will be brought up. It's introduced at this time, right? Okay, other things under the mayor's report, last week we had a Carroll County chapter meeting in New Windsor. It was Neil Rupp, Mayor of New Windsor, it was his last Carroll County chapter meeting because he chooses not to run again this year in May. So the other mayors had talked and we gave him a little citation for his years of service to the Carroll County chapter and to his town and to also Carroll County. And that was nice. And then the Carroll County Commissioners also gave him a certificate of appreciation. Chris Nevin was on our legislative committee for MML. He was there and talked about the legislative agenda. that's in Annapolis, and hopefully we'll have some answers on the budget after next week, or another week and a half. Some bills that were proposed through Maryland Municipal League. Only one of them got through the different parts of the hearing. That will be brought up during the session. Not likely to pass this year, I don't think, but we'll see what happens. Pretty mild year for bills, and it's going to be very trying for everybody's budgets this year, so we'll see what happens after they pass their budget. While watching some meetings the past week, I saw something very interesting that the city of Westminster is having. They had a lady there, and I'd like to get her up here and talk about they made a proclamation, and the city of Westminster is now going to be a bird city. They're going to do this out at the Wakefield Valley Golf Course, and I looked at the presentation she had on TV. I think it would be something worthwhile for us to look at and have down at our park down here. It doesn't cost anything with the different birds and things that are down there. There's eagles down there. I don't know, a lot of people haven't seen them, but if you go down to the park and you look over back towards Stanballs, last year there was an eagle in a tree down there. And down here, when you go down and you go across the creek toward Phillips Lane, the part that isn't mowed, there was always an eagle down there. So there are some interesting birds down there. There's nothing to, other than adopting, say that we're a bird city and have him come in and we'll sign a ordinance. It's not really an ordinance, just a proclamation on it, and send it in. And there's another avenue that there's some money available through different grants that you can get for that. So I think we have a nice park down there, and if that's something that the council would be interested in, I'll try to get hold of this lady, have her come up and do a presentation for us. I think that'd be very good for us down there on that trail. I did talk to Donald, and we're going to try to come up with a way we can clean the bat boxes out that have been put down there several years ago. Come to find out, this lady was talking that bats do serve a purpose, so we all knew that, to keep some bugs down, things like that. So I think our boxes need to be cleaned out. There's a little grill that has been ordered to put down by the picnic area down there. My brother and I are donating that grill to the town. It's going to be cemented in the ground, so people go to the beach, what they call the beach down there. We've always had people wanting to go down there and have a little picnic and stuff, and with their kids and all during the summer. So as soon as that comes in, that's going to be mounted, and it's donated by my brother and I. That's about all that I have for right now, and it's Mandy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To go along with the town implementing the new budget is the capital improvement program that we have to do annually. Last Thursday, Nick Human presented the capital improvement program. Again, this goes hand in hand with the budget proposal, as the capital improvement program has major improvements for the town. And when the budget is lower or has increased for the town, there's less money for the town to do these capital improvements. And especially with what the town is dealing with the wastewater treatment plant, the PFAS, and then dealing with the just needing to resolve certain areas of the current wastewater treatment plant, there isn't a lot of budget to go forward with expanding on capital improvements. So you will notice that in the fiscal year 26 capital improvement program, that really, it is pretty much similar to last year's. And going forward, the budget, the capital improvement program discusses the general fund for the remaining 6 acres of the land bank for the wastewater treatment plants. And then there is also the getting grants for the, because we had the I&I study and then the PER that GHD did, and there is essentially more studies and more needed repairs for the current wastewater treatment plant, which again, the town doesn't have the budget to go forward with. So we are relying on grants and forgiveness loans, not just straight loans, which that's what the town is having problems with at this point. So really, we're looking at, these are the funds that we're looking at. We're looking at the wastewater treatment plant, and fixing the current wastewater treatment plant is where we're going forward. Good thing is that we do have phase 1 and phase 2. We have the whole budget for the community center, park playground, and interest canopy repair. So that's good news for the town this year. So that is all I have for the capital improvement program. I have prepared resolution 03/2025 to have the town pass that and move that forward.
Okay. Okay, resolution 03-2025, resolution on capital improvements program. We introduce it, or we can motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we approve the capital improvement plan, Resolution 03-2025.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Noes, motion carried. Thank you.
And then just as a quick update, PFAS, I think they are working towards getting us some final numbers for the remediation from the settlement. So again, that will also help with the capital improvement program with the budgeting. And for end of next month, just to give the town an update, I have scheduled to attend a free presentation through the Maryland Association of Justice for the cannabis, for looking at the ordinances on that, because I was looking through some programs. So I will be attending that through a free program through MAJ to get some more information on that,
Thank
so
you.
that I can provide that to the town.
Good, thank you.
Okay. That's all I have for today.
Okay. Deputy McGinnis.
Good evening, everybody. Good to see everyone. Good to be here. So the briefing tonight is a little brief. So I have another item here that I wanted to kind of address. I had a conversation this week with Joe Israelson, and last year we visited this bike. Perry, I think I've had a few conversations with you about it, just this bike rodeo for the kids. This never grabbed traction last year, and it's something that, I figured, what the heck, I'll bring up when I'm up here, just because it seems like a good thing for the community and the kids in the community. So it just happenstance, I was out in town, and I stopped in Originals, and a lady was in there having a conversation with Erica. Is it Erica?
Yes.
Yeah, just making sure while I'm on record, and about donation of bikes. And little to my knowledge, I guess, they lived just outside of town, and they work on bikes and restore them, and they have a bunch of 10 speeds, and we made a small conversation, and I got some additional information from them. I'm going to follow up with them, but that would be a tremendous resource to have, like somebody that actually works on the bikes and somebody that teaches kids how to maintain them. So we're kind of trying to get all the parts together. So as soon as I had that conversation with them, I was like, you know what, I'm going to drop by Joe's house and see if she's home. Sure enough, I guess things just fell into place this day, because she was outside and she had come up with this grand plan for this. And apparently May is a National Bicycle Safety Awareness Month. I didn't know that. Now we're getting close, and I know that things take time. So, it may not be this year, but maybe
Sure.
at some point this year or even next year, we can get something on the books for this. And it would really be like, for people that don't know, I am bike patrol certified. I know that we have a town bike. It doesn't fit me. It was made for a much taller frame than me, so I can't make that work. But maybe in the future, I can get that back up and going, and that program, on its feet again, and teach kids safety, because we did get donations for helmets, but the problem is the kids don't wear the helmets. And I think that education and getting their parents involved and having a fun event where the helmets are cool, and look, a police officer does it, I can do it too, and teach them. I think it would be a very good event. So yeah, just wanted to relay that to you guys. And she's got a great idea for this. It's called Lids for Kids, and she's got the whole thing laid out. So might be something worth visiting. I think she's in Maine right now, but it might be something worth visiting going forward.
Sure.
But anyhow, on to the briefing. Between February 24th and March 24th, 2025, the Carroll County Sheriff's Office received 13 calls for service within the town of Union Bridge. Out of those calls for service, 2 were found to be reportable. On 2/28/25 at 2 a.m., a report was taken for a civil matter on South Benedum Street. The details suggest that this was arising from a domestic matter. The complainant was advised of options to take ongoing, going forward, such as protective orders and peace orders. On 3/10/2025 at 7:41 a.m., a report was taken for a vehicle tow around East Broadway Street and South Bellevue Road. This additionally stemmed from a domestic matter, and the vehicle was found to be parked within town managed property and was towed by the sheriff's office, myself. So that was pretty much it for this month. That's a good month when we don't have all kinds of crimes. I also added a bit for the newsletter. Mike Reynolds should be getting that over to you, Dawn, I guess, for the newsletter here, because I did one for, pretty much mirrors the one for New Windsor. So crime trends in the area, such as thefts and frauds. Just be aware of people soliciting work. This time of year, you get a storm, and then you'll have roofers come over and try to give you an estimate for a roof, and just be on guard, because some are not legitimate companies. You know, that I've ran into, a lady got her driveway resurfaced, and it was a fraud. They charged her $4,000 for 15 minutes of work, and just everybody be on guard. Get a second opinion, and if the person can't take no for an answer, then call us. It's just times are changing. People are getting greedy. Just obviously don't take somebody's word for it. Always get a second opinion. And then I put a bit in there about mental health, because we had quite a low part in the beginning of last year. So always call 988 when all else fails, and that's all I got for this
Would
year.
you just take a minute and, while people are here and we have the cameras on, to just give them a general idea of all the other duties that the sheriff's department has you also doing, just not Union Bridge, with your homeless people and everything else?
Sure, yeah. When I was put into this position, I guess, this was a program that was already being completed by the previous community deputy, but there are a lot of additional duties that we do, and a lot of that is homeless outreach within the county. So earlier today, I had a Circle of Caring, which is a branch of multiple executives throughout the county that talks about how we can better homelessness in the county. And of course, right now we're going over budgets and budget cuts and everything else, and what are we going to do in fiscal year 2026, because that's a big red flag right now. We don't know what kind of states funds we're going to have or what kind of federal funds we're going to have. But the night-by-night shelter is in Westminster, and it's near the senior center, and that is a 24-hour shelter that runs all year long. And I can say, as the homeless liaison for the sheriff's office, there's quite a need for it. We're overwhelmed right now and beyond capacity. I believe 49 or 50 participants were there last night, and that thins out as warm weather goes on. So during the winter time, they were actually extending their hours. And what I run into is it's not just an average person that loses their home, right? There's normally an underlying reason why they're homeless, and it's normally either unfortunately, an addiction or even mental health, and the lack of resources has always been the cause for this. And it's just, how do we better it? And that is quite a task, and it's definitely something that I feel like I'm getting better at and working with them more on. So it's obviously, I do outreach, and we go around, and we like to keep track where everybody's camping, and try to get them plugged in with the resources, and then get them on the temporary housing list. And ultimately, the goal is to get them successful and back on their feet again. So temporary, permanent housing, all that is part of this umbrella. So it's very good to be plugged into it. We were actually talking today about maybe possibly reaching out to people in the detention center, and the people that are having more recidivism issues and things of that nature. And I know a few in town. I won't name anybody, but I think it would be great to get their resources plugged in with, like, therapists and peer support into the detention center to then furthermore help them while they're in. And then when they get back on their feet, they can kind of stay away from the bad stuff, because if you have it right next to you, it's going to be hard to change, right? So that's part of what I do. Also, got a lot of spring events coming up. As a community deputy, we're we're assigned to, basically be a face of the agency. So we do a lot of spring events, and I work with my sergeant on those events. We do a lot of drug takebacks. They're coming up in May during the carnival weeks. So we're keep an eye out for those. The county's going to post all those dates, and I can get them to you guys if you would like. But if you have bulk subscriptions of medications, that's what I was looking for. That's what bulk medications that you're trying to get rid of, then we do have take-back locations at all the senior centers, and there's dates for all the senior centers, as well as county maintenance, which is the big take-back. And they actually do like the waste, like the material waste, gasoline and oil and all that kind of stuff that day as well. So keep an eye out for those. They're coming up in May. I could keep going on little things, but I think I'm losing everybody's attention.
Yeah, but I think it's good, it's good that people know, that sometimes they say they don't see you around town, but you have like a dozen other duties other than just being deputy Union Bridge and New Windsor because of just the way the county falls and the responsibilities that are there.
Yeah, and I mean, Mark Townsend, I think, well, under him, things were different. So it was like, I guess he was essentially employed by the town, and the way that things worked out there, not getting into the skinny of it. And then Brian was just, he was just.
Took up where the others.
He was,
yeah.
Very great at what he did. So he just took the extra time to do what he did. But unfortunately, I get them 80 hours in every 2 weeks, and it's tough to manage more than that with a 6-month-old at home. So I can't be everywhere at once.
That's right.
So, but anyway.
Okay, we do appreciate what you do for us, though.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
And my contact information is going to be in the newsletter. I don't hear from people much. So honestly, any insight or any, you said that, if anybody would have any suggestions or concerns or anything, please reach out to me. I have my email listed on there as well as my cell phone number. So please reach out to me, and we'll try to better things for you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, public comments and concerns. Because people in the audience tonight, anybody? Kim, you had something you wanted to bring up? Public comments, and now's your time to shine.
I'm sorry, I was very engaged in what the sheriff was telling us. My name is Kim White, for those of you who may not know me. I know most of the folks
And
up
my name's
there.
Dale Wooden.
And Dale. We are from St. James Food Pantry, our church here on Benetham Street. And I have a little thing to read here that Dream Big is delighted to announce its partnership with members of St. James Lutheran Church. Together, we are working to establish a farmers market in town, which is anticipated to launch by early summer and continue through early November. We are inquiring with the town regarding any necessary local permits required to host the event within the limits. We understand that the health department mandates permits for vendors to secure. Additionally, we will require each vendor to provide a certificate of insurance to safeguard both organizations and the landowner. The farmers market is anticipated to be centrally located along Main Street, benefiting residents and local businesses while also attracting the attention of passing motorists. Future updates will be communicated as developments arise, and we intend to engage with the Union Bridge Business Association to explore the potential for their partnership, which could facilitate mutual support in attracting future development for the vacant storefronts along Main Street. So that's one piece that we wanted to talk about.
Where on Main Street are you planning on trying to have it at?
At the bank's parking lot, we were hoping.
Have you talked to the owner of the bank?
Yes, I believe that Sherry has
Okay.
made some contact with that person, and I think they're on board.
Okay, I see they put their chains up and blocked it off this past week finally, so.
Yeah, I know.
So we just thought it might start out slow and small, but it might grow and it
Sure.
might bring things to the town. It might also allow for some, and maybe leftovers for a better term, to kind of go to our food pantry as well. So there's like a partnership that could help all around. We just had our food pantry today. Ellen's a big part of that as well. And we, had our folks come in today, and we expect that that'll continue. We're a year-by-year situation right now at the church, but
Sure.
we're trying to continue to do the outreach for the community in need.
Do you anticipate if it will interfere with like Lucy's, since she sells produce there and
I was wondering
baked
maybe
goods?
we could engage her to be, like, have a separate thing with us.
Yeah.
Because the deli's no longer there, and so some of the produce, I mean, it seems a little less than what it used to be when they had the deli there as well. So maybe she would even be interested in having a spot to do that.
Yeah, it's possible, yeah, because she has so many different items there.
Yeah.
And then also the Brethren Church did very well with their,
Oh, yeah. with their
Live garden last year, yes, their garden.
They were very helpful
Yes.
too with the food pantry.
Sure.
So it's a nice community. We have a lot of outreach from churches who help us at our food pantry at St. James. So we just thought this might be another way, and also to bring some more excitement to the
Sure.
town. So that's just one thing. I have two other small things.
Okay,
but-
go right ahead.
I think before we did peddlers permits
Yes,
for each
each person.
person that you would have there. And I don't know do they need a special license or anything through the county?
I have to look that up.
Okay.
I'm not 100%
That may be
sure.
something you might want to check. I don't know about that. But each vendor that you would have to do a permit down here. And I believe it's $10 for the year.
And then it depends on what they bring. If they, I'm sure they're not going to have like, sometimes they have like baked goods and things like that. They have to get a permit through the county for,
Cottage.
Yeah.
health department permit. So it might be something you want to check on there too, just to make
I
sure.
think there's a lot we still need to
Yeah.
investigate on that, so.
Because the health department changes rules every day. We can't keep up with them. So you might want to just check with them.
And we
To,
would ask them to provide their license or whatever they have to go along with their permit.
Well, we're engaged with everybody, so we're just beginning this process.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can turn it into something for the community.
Sounds good.
And then the other thing I wanted to ask is, the health department reached out to me for coming to the food pantry, just June 2nd. We're open 4:30 to 5:30, but they have a pretty big vehicle, and I wanted to ask if in front of our church, we could just block off that parking just for the church area, the size of the building, for the truck to park there on that date, just for that
It's
time.
like a bookmobile.
It's a motorhome. Yeah, I've seen it. Yes.
But they're coming to help the folks at the food pantry, offer some health services and.
Free screenings.
Are you talking Benham Street or?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't think it would fit too easily. I
I don't
actually
think-
reached out to Amy to see if maybe we could use the property next to the church on the side, but I think it might be too awkward.
It's a little big for that. Yeah, it's a 30-couple-foot motorhome. Yeah.
Take part of the church with it.
And our parking
Agreed.
lot for the church is also in a situation, it'd be hard to maneuver down that alley. So out front would be ideal, and it would just be, like I said, for about an hour and a half on Monday, June 2nd.
Just that one day.
Yes.
Okay. I
At
think we
this
can.
point,
I think we
that's
can
all.
probably do that. You know. Is
Awesome.
that okay with the council? We'll just have to make sure that we get up there early, and hopefully the tenants up there will, and the residents will, because we tried to,
We'll help with that.
well, we tried asking those people years ago to leave those parking spaces over there for when you had church services, and that never worked. You know how that worked out. So we'll try it again and see if it'll work for this, but anything's worth a try.
Right, and it's just a short period
Yeah.
of time. And
Well, we
it's for the
can-
benefit of anybody.
Yeah,
who
we
wants
can put no parking there and make sure that it's open.
it. Is that something signs we'd get from you, or?
Yeah, we'll make sure our maintenance people will get the signs up there, and, because we'll have to put them up there early. What time do they get there on that second?
Well, I imagine they'll be there at 4.
Okay.
And we open 4:30 to 5:30 for the folks to come in.
Okay, but, yeah, we'll make sure our maintenance people get there, and we'll,
That would be-
actually, we'll make up some kind of a flyer and take to the residents up there so that maybe they'll work with it, so that,
That would be awesome.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And the last thing, and I just got this call today while I was at the food pantry. Her name is Trish from the Westminster Rescue Mission, and she was saying that at carnival time.
yes.
You know about this?
Yes, I do. I was going to give a report on that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Let me let
Yeah.
you do it?
Yeah, that's okay, yeah,
That's
yep.
awesome. Awesome. Leave it over to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else this evening? Comments and concerns? Okay, we're moving right on to, Sherry, you want to do yours under?
Okay.
Under,
Just on behalf of Dream Big Union Bridge, we're actively working on our annual Rubber Duck Derby and Jeep Show, which will be held June 7th on the Donald D. Wilson Walking Trail. And we're going to have a live band this year. Again, we'll have the vendors, the food trucks, and we've got a few little things that we're working on. Each year we try to add to it and make it a little different. So it's going to, last year we figured we had over 1,000 people that came, and we've been having people inquire about it. So I think it's going to be huge this year. So.
that's it?
Oh, we have the Easter egg hunt on April 12th, and it'll be up at the Brethren Church in Union Bridge. And that way we're going to do outside and hit the train, and then it'll be inside like it was last year. So that way we don't have to scamper to find a location. So, and the first 60 kids there will get a free filled Easter basket, and we have time. I think it's 11, but don't hold me to it. I don't have a flyer with me.
Okay.
I'm not in charge of that.
All right.
That's all I have.
Okay, well, I have some, being as I'm the public information officer for Union Bridge Fire Company, I have some things for the fire company to bring up. Our annual carnival is May the 29th through the 31st. And like Kim was saying, Westminster Rescue Mission is going to be there every night of the carnival. They're going to man it. They're going to have a truck there for food donations for the food pantry. So they'll be taking care of that. They'll be there every night during the carnival. The fire company is having a gift card bingo on April the 11th, bingo banquet on April the 26th. May the 17th is the sportsman's drawing, gun drawing. And they have 2 more breakfasts this year, April and May. Mother's Day breakfast is always huge. And they're already, with coordination with Flood Zone, the Anchored Mini Boat Parade is July the 16th through the 20th. If anybody doesn't know, that's when they put different people, you can sponsor yourself a boat and get donations, and you build a boat, you put it in the creek, people put bids in, and this is 100% of the donations that are made are given to Union Bridge and New Windsor Fire Company. In the last 5 years, they've given $130,000 to Union Bridge and New Windsor Fire Company. Last year, it was a little over $17,000. The year before that, it was $16,000 for each fire company. And that's just from Wednesday through Sunday. People, they get sponsors for their boats and everything. They put them in the creek. Flood Zone started that the year of COVID to make sure that the fire companies couldn't have carnivals and things. Jerry was graciously enough to put this together because he lives in New Windsor. His business is in Union Bridge. So he said this was something for Union Bridge and New Windsor Fire Company. So every year it gets a little bit bigger when it's not a lot of work that we have to do. The fire company puts a boat in, they build one, New Windsor puts a boat in, different businesses put boats in, and you get sponsors, and then people come to the flood zone during those nights. They have a big box out there, and you put donations in the box for whichever boat you want to bid on, you know. And on a Sunday afternoon, they have the presentation. And like I say, it's $130,000 in the last 5 years down there. It's a very good fundraiser for the fire companies, and hopefully it'll be just as well and do just as good this year. While we're talking about that, just in case anybody hasn't heard, Jerry and Beth have given the business over to his son-in-law and daughter, Tony and Mike Cromer. They are taking over Flood Zone as January the 1st, and Magstone business out on Bark Hill Road, his son took that business over. But Jerry and Beth are still a large part of the community, and they say that they still come back and forth, and they're a very large part of the community. Jerry grew up here, he lives here, and without that, I mean, that's easy money for the fire company. So like everybody come down and bid on a boat that weekend and give the fire company a little bit more money. Also come to the carnival. So what I'm doing here, I'd like, with cable TV being here, I know there's times that Limbo's down here in the corner, they have pool tournaments down there for different events. Any organization in Union Bridge that has something, please come to this council meeting, and you can't get any better advertisement than having the camera here. So if you don't use that access, it's your own fault. I will be giving a report on the fire company every month because I'm their public information officer. And I guess Sherry's going to do Green Big, but the churches, anybody wants to bring up something, this is the time to do it. I mean, we'll put it in the newsletter, but this goes and people do watch cable TV. I hear people sitting around, they having nothing else to do. It's very interesting to watch what's going on in all the towns, so this is your place, okay? Nothing further. Committee reports. Sherry, you want to start?
Sure. On March 10th, I attended the work session. I received a report of a light out on North Farquhar and Elger, and I've been checking it several times, and I haven't seen any outages, so I'm not going to report it till I actually see it out myself, because they're going to run out there and it's not going to be off. And then Laura told me about one that's getting real dim, so I'll check that out tonight after the meeting. On 3/19, I attended the MML quarterly meeting in New Windsor that Mayor Jones already spoke about. And I did want to let everyone know that I am not going to be running for council this coming election, as Dream Big Union Bridge is expanding their events, and I need to focus my time and attention on these items. As a result, I don't want that involvement to interfere with my responsibilities as a council person. I thank you all for the opportunity to serve this past term.
Well, thank you very much.
And I wanted to give you adequate notice, so
Okay.
you weren't scrambling.
Okay. All right, Ellen.
I've continued to work on the Borderline project, and that's about it.
Okay, Brett?
We have a infiltration issue with sewer. We're exceeding capacity at the wastewater plant. I've been in touch with Geyer Brothers. We're going to meet sometime this week and see if we can locate it. I suspect it's at the stream crossing, but we have to verify that. We have to correct that. Hopefully it won't cost a tremendous amount of money. And we do need to talk about purchase of this land
Yes.
across the street. We need to do that. I don't have the numbers in my head.
It would be 54,000.
54,000.
Have that in this budget.
Yes.
Yeah, I seen you.
Yes.
You have, and should we have a motion to purchase this property, or I mean, it's something we were gonna do.
I thought we already did, but I know we talked about it.
We have the option to, and
Okay.
Right.
you could have gotten just the amount, the 5 acres, I believe it was, for
Correct.
just the wastewater treatment plant. Or you could have gotten the whole, I think it's 11 point something, but say 12
It's 12,
acres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I think that you guys had discussed that you wanted to.
Buy
get
the whole
the-
thing,
all
we
of
could,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
So you discussed that, but you haven't put forth
Yeah, I just
the
didn't know
process to move forward with the purchase.
if we needed a vote to purchase this property.
It's been put in, it's through the capital improvement project, it's been
Yeah.
put in the budget, and I think what Ned discussed last week is that we should have all the money by next year, correct?
We'll have it
56?
all come
Pursuant to
July.
Come
July
Is it,
1.
is it
So
this
I
July?
make-
Okay,
yeah, Go ahead
so,
and make a motion so that.
I move that we purchase the property in July.
How much? of the
54,000,
How
all
much?
of it. Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to purchase all the acreage across the road. Is there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, ayes?
Aye.
Noes? Okay, thank you.
As you said, 5 acres of that is earmarked for the wastewater plant that I've been pushing we need to get this plant built, and I'm not worried about the development anymore.
We have to take care of us.
We got to take care of us, so we're going to have to, we need to get this moving. So that's why I want to get this land purchased and move on from there.
Okay,
That's all I have now.
thank you, Brett. Laura?
On February 26th, I submitted a donation to Heidelberg Materials for National Night Out, which will be on August 5th, 2025. I emailed the fourth grade teachers again to offer my assistance with the If I Were Mayor essay contest. On February 27th, I ordered 7 new Christmas snowflake lights for Main Street. On March 7th, I requested a PIA for the month of February 2025. On March 7th, I registered for National Night Out. We received 2 essays for If I Were Mayor on March 10th, when I attended the work session, and we picked a winner that night. And I attended the MML dinner in New Windsor on March 19th. And I spoke to Lita, Ellen, Dawn, and Master Deputy McGinnis regarding parking issues and other things throughout the month.
Okay. All right, Amy.
I've attended council meetings and also the planning and zoning meeting on March 20th, where we were informed by Javier Toro, the Carroll County Planning Liaison, that Andrew Gray has the Water and Sewer Master Plan, and the housing study is complete and online and available. The master plan will be discussed at 5 open house events held in the county commissioners' zones or areas, each one. And they will be going to the county planning and zoning, and then it will go public. Ned discussed the Unibridge Solar Preliminary Subdivision Plan update. He went over it and gave us all these,
Pretty copy.
and that's it.
Okay. All right. Oh, we don't have to do that. Yeah, that was already done last month. Yeah. That was the extra she put in there. Our next work session is on April the 14th at 6:30. Our next council meeting is April the 28th. And what was the deadline for people to sign up, Dawn? April 14th was the last day.
It's either 3 or 4 o'clock, I think it's 4.
4 o'clock, April the,
But
if anybody chooses to run for town council, one of the seats must be in this office no later than 4 o'clock. If you're 2 minutes after 4, you're too late. You're not going to be on the list. It's 4 o'clock is what the ordinance says, and that's where we're going to hold it at. If there's nothing else for tonight, we're in line for a motion to adjournment.
I'll motion we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. Is there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. We'll see you next month. Thank you.